Alright lads, since we basically have a confirmed date for the 6th anniversary for us over here on the NA version of the game, and if you guys are wondering where I'm getting that from, it's from the FGO USA Twitter, where they do say that for Anime Expo, they're going to be celebrating the 6th anniversary on July 2nd over here, and they're bringing in all these special guests and everything. So since we actually pretty much know that this is when all the anniversary stuff is going to be dropping on the NA version of the game, a lot of people have been asking how many Saint Quartz are we actually getting for the anniversary. So I went ahead and opened up a couple of tabs, looked at some things, and I found out what we should be getting on average for most people. Some people will get a little bit more depending on interludes and stuff that you've completed, but on average, how much everybody should be getting for the anniversary. And it's going to be a decent chunk of Saint Quartz. Now, I'm not saying go blow all your Saint Quartz on the Da Vinci Rider banner if she's still up whenever I upload this video, but it should make you feel a little bit better about Koyenskaya, or if for whatever reason you're skipping out on Koyenskaya for, say, Oberon, it should make you feel a little bit better for that. In fact, if you're skipping for Oberon, you'll have a little bit extra Saint Quartz because of the Part 3 for Lost Belt 6, but that's besides the point. Before we actually start going over all of this, make sure you leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content, because your boy is always out here making sure that you are going to be taken care of, knowing what's going on both the NA and JP version of the game. Also, if you want to see me play FGO Live, I do that every weekday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you peep that Twitch link down in the description down below. But with that being said, let's start breaking this down, and I'm even so old that I brought up my little note cards over here, and I wrote things down so I don't forget stuff. So first and foremost, the big kahuna, just for them actually streaming the event over here, we're getting 156 Saint Quartz. So that's going to be very nice. Presuming that they just don't change the retweet campaign, which I have no idea why they would, we should just be getting 156 off the bat. And also, right before this, we're also going to be getting this over here. This is going to be 72 Saint Quartz over here for just these various live stream retweets and everything they're going to be doing over here. So this should just be over 200 Saint Quartz for all masters for free. Shouldn't even really be concerned about all of that. But then on top of this, keep in mind that Part 2 for Lost Belt 6 also drops before the anniversary, as we do know that Lost Belt 6 Part 2 is going to come out on the 20th, because if you've finished Part 1 in-game, the next mission becomes available on the 20th. So not only are you getting this for free, you know, without having really done anything, as long as you clear Fuyuki, which I'm assuming if this applies to you, you've finished Fuyuki, right? And then, you know, they've also done this. Then you also have Part 2 over here, which between all of the arrows that they have right over here, because every time you complete an arrow for story, you're able to get a Saint Quartz fragment, but then you're also looking at about 20 Saint Quartz for actually finishing each of the missions. That's going to bring you up to about 260 Saint Quartz between the fragments that you're going to be getting and the extra 20 over here. And so that's already looking really nice, but there is a lot more stuff that you can actually get because they add missions during this anniversary as well. And this is why you want to make sure that while we kind of have a little bit of downtime between, say, Part 1 dropping and Part 2 dropping, you want to make sure that you are caught up. And I was going to say on, you know, your Lost Belt stuff, but how are you playing Lost Belt 6 if you've not done these? So make sure you get these done, because that's 20 Saint Quartz. But you want to make sure that you are caught up on your free quest, because that's an additional 20 Saint Quartz that everybody should be able to get done. Now, we're not going to have any of the Lost Belt 6 free quests available, unfortunately, because they drop those after you finish all of Part 3. So you're not going to be able to get any additional free Saint Quartz from that. But just by making sure that you're caught up on doing all of your random free quests from all the other singularities in the Lost Belts and whatnot, you can actually pick yourself up some more Saint Quartz. Now, these I have not really, I didn't factor these into the final tally over here, because you should be looking at about 300 Saint Quartz if you do all of your free quests and you do the new Lost Belt 5, 5.5 missions, you finish up to Lost Belt 6, you get all this done, and then they also give us this and this over here. That should be available for everybody, right? Because everybody can do every free quest. Everybody has access to Lost Belt 5, Lost Belt 6, Lost Belt 5.5. These are all just free things that everybody can do. These ones over here represent even more Saint Quartz, right? Like this is an additional 60 Saint Quartz if you're able to get up to this additional 200 strengthening quest. Now, I have a decent bit of servants over on my NA version of the game, and I'm not anywhere like near, I don't even think like 170 strengthening quests, right? So just keep in mind, this is probably not going to be for everybody, right? If you've been playing for a decent bit, I imagine you could maybe hit around this pocket over here of like the 150 to 170. We will be getting a strengthening quest campaign over here. It's somewhere, yeah, it's right here. We're going to be getting more of these over here as well. So if you're kind of on the edge of, let's say, you're at 145, you might be able to complete a couple of these because, you know, you have her who's going to be added to the friend point gacha. He's free, basically, from the friend point gacha. They're free from the friend point gacha, free from the friend point gacha, free as well, right? So, like, you can get some of these other guys done to give you extra rank up quests, but I didn't factor them into being like, oh, everybody's going to get like 400 Saint Quartz, because not everybody's going to have this many strengthening quests to do. Because even if you have the servants for them, you might not have them leveled, you might not have the EXP, and you might be waiting for something like, let's say, Nero Fest to get yourself the EXP, QP, and stuff you need to actually level up some of these servants to do their strengthening quests. So if you are one of those people that has a ton of different servants, you are kind of like a dolphin or a whale, and you have like 200 of these to do, then you're going to be looking at an additional 60 Saint Quartz. But that's also why I didn't factor these interludes over here in, because again, I have a decent bit of servants on my own NA. I'm not like a huge whale or anything, but you know, I have a decent bit of servants, a weird flex, but that to say, I only have 190 interludes. It's like 191, 192 is what I'm at for that one. So yeah, like even this is like kind of cool for me, but these are going to be things that even for me, I'm not going to be able to do them immediately. So it's kind of like if you're already wailing out on the game and you have like every single servant, then congratulations, you'll be looking like at an extra 80 Saint Quartz over here. But again, not really going to be for everybody, right? Maybe you're lucky and you get an extra 20 over here, and maybe that 300 number gets bumped up to like, say, 320. But that's not all we're going to be getting. That's pretty much like just the general bit of what we're going to be getting for Saint Quartz. But keep in mind, we also have tickets. There is a login over here, I believe. Yes, where just by logging in during the anniversary, you're going to be able to get 10 tickets over here. And then there's also a Da Vinci workshop thing. Yes, right here as well, where for the anniversary, you can actually pick up 10 tickets as well for really cheap, right? Just for like 10 mana prisms over here. They do this every anniversary. So keep in mind, that is functionally 2 additional multis, but also because it is taking place on the 2nd, that means it's going to take place right after monthly reset, and that means 5 extra tickets as well. So you should be looking at like 25 extra tickets-ish, somewhere around there. And then also around 300 Saint Quartz for every master, and then maybe a little bit more if you've been able to do extra strengthening quests, or you just have a billion servants with interludes, right? You might be able to get that done. But yeah, there is one last update that could also factor into some Saint Quartz that you should be getting, and that's the interlude double rewards over here. But again, like the other one, this is going to be determined on how many interludes you actually go ahead and do, even if you can't get the full 138, because again, if you haven't been able to clear every single interlude because you just don't have every single servant, then you might not be able to get the full 138. But even if you can just catch up on some of your interludes and you get an extra 60, you get an extra 70, 80 Saint Quartz, that's still going to be really good. So even after you go ahead and finish the part 1 over here, while you're waiting for the second part to drop on the 20th, make sure you're going in, doing your dailies, grabbing yourself some EXP cards to level up your servants. Keep in mind that most servants for their interludes do require somewhere in the range of bond 2 to 5, unless it's Ongramine, you need them to be like bond 10. Make sure you are putting your servants that are not bonded up yet to at least 5 in your backline so you can try to do all of their interludes if they have any. Make sure you're leveling them up, because some servants do require them to be at like Ascension 1, Bond 3, or Ascension 3, Bond 4, whatever weird conditions they have. I think like there's very few of them that you can just do their interlude right off the jump. It's people like Shiba that are very rare that you don't really have to do anything to be able to do their interludes. But this is like a PSA to make sure you do your interludes, do your free quests, do not waste your time during this downtime. Even if you just log in and do like 3 runs of the dailies for the EXP cards, you might be able to level up a couple of extra servants, get the job done, get yourself a couple of extra Saint Quartz, because that might matter between you getting Koyenskaya or Oberon if you're, again, waiting for him, or not getting them, right? So just make sure you go ahead and start getting some of this stuff done, because you have quite a bit of time. Again, it's July 2nd is when the anniversary is hitting. And then on top of that, Koyenskaya is not just going to disappear after like 2 days. Like, she will still be there for a little bit, but you know, make sure you're ready when she actually comes out, because you don't want to be waiting till the last day of Koyanskaya being out to then, like, you know, nervously pull and hope to get her. You want to be ready for when she comes out. But again, everybody getting around at least 300 Saint Quartz without having to factor in all the different interludes and anything, and then also getting like 25 tickets, again, at the bare minimum from just the 2 anniversary campaigns and monthly reset. That's going to set up a lot of players to be able to just get Koyanskaya or Oberon, and a lot of people will pull them off of those basically free Saint Quartz that they're going to be getting just for making sure that they've logged in and gotten some of these initial rewards. But again, you will probably see more than 300. I want to make sure that that is clear. Just at the bare minimum, you're going to be getting around 300 with the, like, 25 tickets, but you'll also more than likely get more if you've been doing your interludes and you've been doing the free quests, right? Like, as long as you're staying up to date, you're going to see potentially more than that as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you guys are excited for Anniversary. I know we're a couple of weeks out, but I wanted to make sure that I threw this out there and made sure that you guys had plenty of time to get some of this stuff done, because I know that I'm already done with Lost Belt 6 Part 1. It was surprisingly shorter than I remembered it being on JP, and so I'm sure that a lot of you guys have also, you know, finished it and are kind of just like, well, what do I do now? There's like nothing else to do. Yes, there is stuff to do. Make sure you are up to date and doing interludes, right? Make sure you just get them all done so you are ready to collect all that juicy Saint Quartz as soon as it drops when the Anniversary comes out on the 2nd. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Late, guys.